All right, so hey y'all. Today I am actually coming with a video where I just sit on my couch and talk to y'all. And actually I'm gonna talk to y'all about The Photograph. The Photograph is a movie by Issa Rae. I'm thinking written by Issa Rae, I don't know for sure. But it stars Issa Rae and Lakeith Stanfield. Two great actors, I must say. They're both very talented people, but I had heard so many mixed reviews about the movie. Like,
everybody's like, oh, that movie's boring, or that movie, it was just,
you know how people do. Everybody was critiquing the movie. But yeah, I love going to the movies. I love analyzing movies and all that jazz. But pretty much what I can say about The Photograph is
That movie read me.
I love that movie. But I hate that movie at the same exact time. So yeah, the movie The Photograph, I went to see it. It was I guess a rom something, I'm not sure. A little romantic, a little drama, a romantic drama maybe. Because it wasn't necessarily a comedy, so it wasn't rom-com, but it was a romantic drama, I would say. But this is all totally my opinions, my takeaways, my channel, so I can do all of that. So I'm just gonna get right into it. What I took from the movie is, you know, we millennials, black female millennials at that, we do not want to work for relationships. We feel like if a man is, you know, pursuing us, and let me speak for myself. I feel like if a man is pursuing me, if he likes me, if he is into me, if he wants to take me out on a date, then, you know, he'd do that. He does that. He gets the opportunity to do that. And then, you know, we see where it goes. But after watching that movie, I was like, yo, I've been doing this wrong all my life. And maybe that's why I'm single. And yeah, I was watching the movie and I feel like I should give a little bit of the movie. So there will be a little bit of spoilers. But basically, Lakeith.
don't even remember his name. I'm bad at remembering characters. I remember May. May is Issa. I don't know what Lakeith's name is. May's mom's name is Christina. I don't know what May's man name was, so.
Lakeith, he was working on an article for his job, and basically it led him to this guy. The guy led him to a photograph. Photograph led him to Issa. So the photograph was a picture of Issa's mother, and that's how this romance kicks off. So he finds May intriguing when he does meet up with her, just to get more information about her mother who had just passed away. And pretty much, you know, the movie starts from there. There's a budding romance between May and Lakeith, or Issa and Lakeith, and we just see the foundation of a relationship being built. We see, you know, how he pursues her. He's into her. He takes her out on this first date. The first date goes extremely well. They kiss on the first date. And pretty much, you know, they have decided, you know, that, you know, they like each other. They have the hots for each other, honey. So they have the hots for each other. But prior to all of this happening, Lakeith had applied to a job in London. He also had just recently broke up with a female. So he has all this going on in the background, while Issa, or May, has this, you know, learning about her mom, because her mom wasn't a very present mom. So she was learning a lot about her mom, but also dealing with the death of her mom. So she's learning all this stuff about her mom, but dealing with the death of her mom. And in swoops Lakeith to, you know, kind of woo her, and they're learning together because he's writing an article and it kind of is based on her mom or her dad. That's another part of the story. But pretty much the story goes, they're a little romantic, but it blossoms a little. They get to a point where they're like, yeah, they want to continue to get to know each other. And that's when he tells her that, hey, yeah, I applied to a job in London, you know, but this is the very beginning stages of a romance. So it goes on. Lakeith gets the job in London, but he's still, you know, talking to Issa. But when he finds out that news, he ghosts Issa. He ghosts her. So it's just like, okay, he's dealing with, I guess he's dealing with the thoughts of what to do. How do I do this? Is it even worth it? Is it worth working through, or just like she's a new person, I could just move to London and, going about my merry way. So they end up in the same place after he ghosted her. They end up in the same place, and it's kind of like, yo, you was ghosting me? But Issa, she is so mature and understanding. She kind of just like accepts him with open arms. And, they get back to doing their little dating thing, their little rendezvous. They have fun together, enjoy each other's company. And she asked him pretty much for an update on his job in London, like what's going on with that. And he's like, oh, actually, I'm moving to London. So Issa's like, oh, wow. So then they come to this point like, hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to do a long distance thing? Are we going to continue to get to know each other? What are we going to do? So pretty much Issa's like totally against the long distance relationship. Lakeith that's his only, we could try it, because he didn't even want to have that tough conversation to start. So his thing was he was going to London anyway. So he didn't even try to, open up the conversation about what we're going to do. So he was forced into stepping into that conversation. And pretty much May or Issa is like, no, I'm not doing a long distance. And he's like, okay then. So they go on about their merry way. He's preparing to go to London. She's preparing this presentation about her mom, like I said, who had just passed. She was a photographer. I forgot to add that. So she's doing a whole exhibit about her mom and her mom's story, her mom's life. So it's at that point that he's gone to London and she's doing all of this, and she's kind of expecting him to come, show up at that exhibit, and he doesn't. So it's at that moment that she's like, you know what? I gotta go fight for my man or get this man because I'm really into him. We've been doing all of this. So I gotta go get my man. Okay, so long story short, that was the movie. It doesn't sound very entertaining, which is maybe why it has so many critiques from certain people, but that was the movie. So I want to get back to what I was talking about earlier. Being a millennial woman, a black woman, and I'm just going to speak for myself. I'm not going to subject my opinions or my thoughts and things like that on anybody else, but I'm just speaking from my perspective. So I feel like watching that movie, it read me because, honey, do you think if a man ghosted me, if he left to go to London, do you think I am about to come follow you, sir, when you sought me, you summoned me, you found me, you wanted to take me on a date? No. You got this thing all jacked up if you think I'm about to come to London to get you. Like, the buck stops here. But it was pretty much like Lakeith was like, oh, you're not gonna do long distance? There ain't no other options. Say less. I'm going to London. And like he leaves Issa to pick up the pieces. And in my heart of hearts, right then and there, number one, I would have never talked to you after you ghosted me, sir. So number one, Issa right there, she's already more mature than me. And I need the strength of God to, come and touch my heart, because I'm not with all that yet. Like, I'm not that mature. But that just brought up a conversation with me and my friends. And I was just like, oh my God, the photograph read me, because like, I do not agree with what Issa had to do to get that man. And then I had to start thinking about it. I'm like, hey, that's kind of how I operate in my relationships. And we need to have these type of conversations, because I feel like that's sometimes why young African Americans do not have healthy relationships. We need to have healthy relationships. And I feel like a lot of times we don't have those type of relationships because everything is one-sided. There's no reciprocation. As for me and my relationships, if a guy comes and sees about me, he needs to keep coming to see about me. And I'm not about to come to London to see about him. Even though, he went out on a limb, took a risk on me, not knowing anything about me, just seeing what he could see. He was willing to, take me on a date and do all that Lakeith did to show that he was actually interested. And though he didn't do it the right way, who's to say that you are obligated to get it completely right the first time? And who's to say that if you don't get it right, if I'm interested in you, why can't I assist in, us getting on the same wavelength, getting on the same vibrations? And I feel like I've been selfish in a sense when it came to being pursued. It's like, continue to pursue me and pursue me forever. And I ain't gonna do nothing until I decide if I really like you, if I really want to take you seriously. And I just feel like that was the message that I gathered from that movie, because I don't necessarily watch movies to be entertained. I watch them for much deeper meanings. And that was a story about Black love, but seeing that relationships, they should not be one-sided. Just because he was interested, once she saw that she was interested too, they need to decide if they are going to follow the same path, or if there's going to be a fork in their road and they're going to, disperse and go on about their way. And pretty much when they did see that they didn't necessarily agree, it was that Lakeith went on to London and Issa went back to New York. But in her heart of hearts, that's not really what she wanted. She wanted that relationship, but she wasn't necessarily initially wanting to put in any work to get that relationship or to see where the relationship could go. And I just feel like that is important if we want to garner healthy relationships in the Black community. We have to be able to reciprocate. We have to be able to be mature and say, hey, I'm going to do my part too, as Black females, because we always want to know why our Black men sometimes don't like us. And I'm not going to say they don't like us, but they don't value us, or they'll go off with another woman of another ethnicity. And sometimes we do that. And I'm not going to say we. Let me stop saying we. I would do that. I am not going to put in the work. If you DM me, if you slid in my DMs, you need to show me why I need to put in the work. But if I already know that I'm kind of interested in you, why can't I work too so we can get it together? So that's pretty much the message I took from the photograph. We all need to do our part. And that message to me translate not just in relationships or romantic relationships. That goes to systemic issues and economic issues, and it goes on. That goes with our family issues. I always, because I ain't gonna say we, because y'all gonna get offended, and people get too easily offended these days. So I always want somebody else to work on the problem. I never want to take accountability. And even if I do take accountability, I still ain't gonna put in the work. So the photograph is just saying, hey, this is the big picture. This is the big picture. But you gotta get all of these little intricate details to get this big picture. The big picture, if you want something to work, you gotta work too. There's a quote that I have a friend in college, and she had it on her Twitter forever. And maybe it wasn't her Twitter, but that's besides the point. Nothing works unless you do. A relationship is not going to work unless you do. Your car is not going to work unless you do some of the work. So that's the big picture that I took from the photograph. Hopefully I haven't spoiled it for you, and hopefully you want to go see that. We need to support Black film. We always want to know why we don't get recognition, but we need to support. Issa making Black movies is not going to work unless we do the work to support the film and respect the film and love the film. So go see the photograph. See if it reads you the way that it read me. Bye.